My name's Emma Barra and I am co-founder for WeCanAccess. I wanted to talk to you today a bit more about the story behind how we came to develop WeCanAccess and why we're working on it so hard and why it's so important to us that it works. It's a very personal journey, very personal story for my husband David and myself, but it's also one that I think will resonate with a lot of parents of kids with special needs or with chronic health conditions, and people going through it themselves as well. It was in 2012, when our daughter was 2 years old, that she was diagnosed with a malignant tumour, medulloblastoma. She had been falling over a lot, she had been being sick, she'd been crying a lot. And when we went to the doctor with a 2-year-old who is crying a lot and being sick a lot, we were told, there's nothing wrong. But we knew there was something wrong. So we didn't realise it at the time, we were facing our first of many, many battles. And when the doctor said to me, well, I can refer you because you're asking for a referral, so I have to, but I don't know what I'm referring you for, I said, well, you can put overprotective mother on the form if you want. I don't mind, I just want her seen. So the referral was made and we saw a paediatrician a few weeks later. The paediatrician looked at her and said, she's got reflux, nothing to worry about. We went away and a week later we noticed that she couldn't stand up, but when she bent over to pick up a balloon at a party, she fell over and was unhappy about standing on the ground and wouldn't dance. She always loved to dance and she wouldn't dance. So the next day I rang the paediatrician's office and thank you to the universe because that guy was on holiday and the person that replaced him or was standing in for him said, come in immediately. And that was another lesson that we hadn't learned at the time, is when people say come in immediately and things happen quickly, you are in trouble. So we went in and the doctor looked at Addie and said, I'm sending her for a CT scan. And she was sedated. And after the scan, she wouldn't wake up. And the doctor came in and said, your daughter has a malignant brain tumour called medulloblastoma. It's blocking off the fluid to her brain and she needs an urgent operation. So we were blue lighted into Great Ormond Street Hospital and Addie went emergency surgery to relieve the pressure on her brain. And then a couple of days later, she had a 7-hour surgery to remove the brain tumour. And we began a year-long programme of intensive chemotherapy and radiotherapy, which is awful. Is awful. It is horrible and it is painful, and as a parent having to hold your child and tell them everything's all right when you're pouring horrible chemicals into their body that are going to make them sick, or sending them to be zapped by gamma rays that are going to burn their skin. It's awful, but you deal with it. We got through it. There were lots of days when I wanted to hide under the bed and not come out, but I didn't, because you can't, because Addie was amazing all the way through it and determined and just so resilient. She was fantastic. All the time it takes a toll. We were told she had a 33 to 55% chance of survival. So that rings in your ears every day. And it's hard to sleep, and she slept in our bed for months and months and months. So it's a tough, scary journey. But we came through the other end, and was going for lots of tests still at hospital, so every 3 months or so we'd be in, or 2 to 3 months we'd be in for some scan or some checkup or other. And over the years, those have got further and further apart. As a result, she's developed a lot of phobias about needles and scans and things. So now she's older, you'd think it gets easier, but actually for Addie it hasn't. The other thing that changed was we had to go from being a cancer family to being a family of a child with special needs. The treatment saved her life, and I am forever, ever grateful to Gosh for that. But it has left her with many disabilities. So she's deaf, she's partially sighted on one side, she's got balance issues, there's a lot going on for her. And she's still trying to find her identity through that. We had to change from being a cancer family to a family with a child with special needs, and all that entails and all that means. So in the UK, we are very, very fortunate. We've got the NHS system to support us and the social care system to support us, but it is very, very difficult to navigate at times. It is very, very hard work. It's exhausting, and the forms we have to fill in, and I have repeated it over and over and over again, and going through each of those forms can be very triggering as well. It can be hard work. It's difficult to do this video, to talk to you about what's been happening, which is possibly why I'm going through it pretty fast. And there are things that I know that other families like ours, this isn't just us facing this. This is something that the families that we've met all the way along have all been going through the same thing, all trying to navigate the systems, all trying to understand what their children are going through. When you have a child with cancer, it doesn't just finish with treatment. There's years and years of adjustment. There's years and years of understanding the late effects of the treatment she's had, and the impacts of the tumour. There's years and years of being terrified that it's going to come back. Every time she gets a headache, or a nosebleed, the fear rushes through you. Plus, Addie's struggling now. She's older. She's a teenager. She's struggling with the reality of what's happened to her. So, and when she struggles to make friends, and she struggles to understand certain things, and that can be very depressing, very hard on her, because she's smart enough to understand when she doesn't understand. So there's a lot going on, and what makes things harder, and what we've realised, is the attitudes of people around us. Sometimes people's attitudes are amazing, absolutely amazing, and the provisions that are put in place are fantastic. And when that happens, such a weight is lifted. And one of the reasons for creating WeCanAccess is what we realise is these sorts of things are not that difficult. Changing your attitude, changing your behaviour is sometimes all that's needed to allow somebody to access your shop. Sometimes all it takes is somebody to say, "Can I help you?" or "Can you reach that?" And there you go, you can buy the product. And it's things like that we want to use WeCanAccess to help people understand, and help people change their practices, and help people change their attitudes. Because the most important thing for me right now is, as Addie grows up, we want her to be able to move around the world independently. She wants to get a job. She wants to be able to look after herself. And at the moment, I don't know if that's possible, because it has to be a specialised place that will look after her. But I do think we've seen it. We know that given the right attitude, people can make places welcoming. They can help people access their spaces and their services, their cafe, whatever it is, and make Addie feel welcome, make Addie feel like she's part of that community. And that is what we want to try and achieve with WeCanAccess. We want to show people it's not that difficult. We want to teach people to think in a slightly different way to make it more accommodating, and we want to make the world a more accessible place for not just Addie, but for other families and other children like Addie. And of course the other thing is that the benefits are not just for children like Addie, but also the benefits are for the wider society. You make a place accessible, you make it more welcoming, more people will come in, your business, your place, your space will get known and recognised, you'll get more business, you'll get more access to a diverse range of workers. The benefits are limitless. So that's why it's been so important for us to set up WeCanAccess. That's why we're doing what we're doing, and we very much hope that you will join us on our journey. Thank you very, very much for listening. Please subscribe. Please comment below. We'd love to hear about your experiences and your thoughts. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for your time.